Welcome to part one of building my soundproof dream recording, music, gaming, streaming studio. My name is Eli. I go by Rage Review, although, my streaming handle name is Rage Review, although I don't rage too often anymore, and I do not do reviews anymore. But this video here is going to be from the studs until the room itself is fit and finished. There will be nothing inside of the room yet. No desks, no computers, no LED RGB, all that stuff. None of that. Just the basic room will be finished from the beginning to the end in this video here. Now, I didn't do a lot of recording in the first part when I actually just had this to the studs and I took the drywall down and I started from scratch. Unfortunately, I didn't do a lot then because I didn't really know I wanted to do this. I took a lot of inspiration from other creators I've seen on YouTube and watched, and I really enjoy that kind of content. So I said, why not me? Why can't I maybe take a chance and show you guys and bring some people along for the ride of my dream gaming studio and see where it goes. So thank you for watching, and hopefully you guys can give me some input. My wife and I bought our first house here in October, and when I seen this room, I knew that this was going to be my gaming studio. So I've been planning it for a while. I've been thinking about it for a while. I have a lot of big plans upcoming, and I absolutely can't wait to do it, to learn, because I don't know what I'm doing. A lot of the stuff that you guys are going to see in this video is the first time I'm ever doing it in my life. So I'm excited to learn. I'm excited to show you guys what I've learned, and hopefully we can have some fun here, build this studio together. And yeah, man, thank you for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. And here's the video. Let's get this room built. Okay, so when I started this project, I didn't know that I wanted to make these YouTube videos, as I just previously said. So I took a lot of pictures though. So what I'm gonna do is just run through the pictures and kind of explain to you guys quickly how I got from the room you see right in front of us to being actually like drywalled and mudded and ready for paint, because that's when I started recording. Okay, so here you can see, this is how we bought the house. This is what the room was. It was rough, it was dirty, it needed to be ripped out. Okay, simply put, needed to be redone. And so we started to do that right away. So I started taking down the drywall. Once I learned how to take the drywall down, I started just chipping away at it first, but then I realized if you take your knife and you score along the beams and you start taking it out like that, it comes out really easily. It leaves nails and screws behind, which you have to go and clean up and take out after. Okay, it was actually, once I got the hang of it, it was a lot of fun. Okay, so here's the room. It's all the old drywall's taken down, and we're left with this closet here. We wanted to get rid of the closet, so there it is with the closet gone. And I left out this left wall here because you can see it's tied into the vent framing, and I didn't want to have to deal with any of that, so I just left that up. It's nice because it creates a bit of a sound barrier for me, because I'm going to be facing towards that hot water tank in the back, right? So it's an extra sound barrier to my left to stop sound waves from traveling through the rest of the house to the left into the living room and all that stuff, right? And so I wanted to keep it there for that, and it was just less work in general, and the light switches were already there. It just made sense to leave that up, so I left it up. Once we got everything done that we wanted to get, as far as cleaning up and taking down whatever we wanted to get rid of, we started adding to the project. So the first thing that I wanted to do is between the actual the ceiling joists, what I wanted to do was add more mass material. So we put insulation up in between in there, just to kind of stop any audio, so any sound waves from bouncing around in between that lumber. So once we got the insulation up in the ceiling, we wanted to run our strapping up on the roof to connect, or to create a base for our sonopan. And the sonopan is a super dense soundproofing material. It's just a mass loaded soundproofing material. We had our first level of strapping, which was 1x3. We put our sonopan up, which is 3/4 inch sonopan soundproofing material. And then we would pancake the soundproof material with 2x3. Okay, so what that 2x3 does, which you're looking at right here, is the 2x3, it creates an 1.25 inch, 1.5 gap. But so when we put the drywall up and we screw it to that 2x3, which you're looking at right there, when you screw it in there, it makes a little gap right there so that you can actually put the pot light drivers in there. So that, and then you don't have to drill through the sonopan. If we didn't have that there, you'd have to actually drill through the sonopan and tuck the drivers up there. You don't want to disturb the sonopan. Because that's the thing with audio waves, is that like they will travel through anything, any little holes, any gaps, anything like that. They will travel through and reverberate around. We just wanted to make it as tight and as sealed as we could. So by doing it this way, you do not have to disturb the sonopan whatsoever on the ceiling. That's the sonopan, that's how you do it. And then this is when it was pretty much all fully done. And thank God, because sonopan is very itchy to work with. It gets in your fingers, and it like the little microfibers stab into every part of your body. It's not great stuff to work with. So here we are, we got our ultra thick drywall on the ceiling. We had to rent a ceiling drywall lift, or just a drywall lift, to get it up there. It was really heavy stuff. It's 5/8 drywall, so it's very, very thick. So the sonopan is 3/4 of an inch plus the 5/8 drywall. We're trying to mass load the walls to try and soundproof this, right? That's the entire point. That's why I went with 5/8 drywall. It's extra thick stuff, so it's also very heavy. Without this drywall lift, I wouldn't have been able to get it up on the ceiling. I did pretty good with it, I think, and I'm happy the way that turned out. You know, more drywall. Honestly, cutting the drywall, this was the most painful part of the entire project, was just getting the drywall up. And here I'll show you. Actually, I forgot to tell you guys here. So this right here, you can see, right? It looks kind of odd. So this is a 2x8 right here. And I have it kind of framed around where I'm going to be sitting. So the purpose of that is you have that 2x8 right there, drywall, and then I'm going to put another 2x8 visible up on top of the ceiling and screw it through the drywall into this 2x8, thus making a really solid base to hang stuff from the ceiling. I would like to put articulated metal arms so that I'll be able to move lights around. And you see these cords coming through? These are USB extensions. So they're gonna power my little USB lights, little accent lights, and cameras up on the ceiling. So I wanted to make sure that if I had anything hefty I wanted to attach on the ceiling, that it would have a good solid base there. It's a big wide base, and I have it all measured out right here, so that once this is done, I have this picture and I'll be able to reference this when I'm trying to find it, because, you know, it's all painted and everything. I won't be able to find it. So I had the wherewithal to at least do this. It's not straight. You can see it's off angle, but that's not really a big deal. I will account for that and screw it in place, and it's going to look nice. That piece of wood that I'm going to put in, the piece of wood that's going to be visible, will be another 2x8. I'll stain it. It's going to look pretty. Considering it was the first time I've ever drywalled, it wasn't perfect. We're going to talk about drywall mud here for a second. Now, this first layer of drywall mud is for big gaps. So all the drywalling mud you see right here is just for the biggest gaps that I had left by accident or whatever. And this is the stuff I used right here. So this is a quick setting Durabond 90. So it takes 90 minutes to set up, and it is almost like concrete. This is not the kind of stuff that you want to be finishing with. This is to make a really solid connection between pieces of drywall, gaps, and this is what you use right here. This is really solid stuff. You don't want to finish this. This is what you start with to fill gaps. And you want to make sure that not a lot of it is sticking out anywhere. You don't want to have to sand this at all. This technically is our first pass of mud. And so, well, it's not even mud, it's just taping. So this is us taping everything in the room, taping the corner beads, taping all of the joints. And this is what you use right here for that stuff. This is just light taping mud right here. And this stuff was ready mixed. It was great. Taping mud has more glue in it, and so it just makes it easier to tape with it so that it'll stay in place, and you pretty much just smush out all the excess, make it nice and smooth. This was here our technically our first thick pass of finishing mud, right? So you have your first pass, which is just to fill up the gaps with a compound, which is thicker, not easy to sand. Then we had our light line taping, which we taped right here. And then our first real pass of finishing mud, which is this stuff right here, the blue label light line finishing mud. It's very easy to sand off. You know, that's where you want to start. leaving some extra mud on there, right? We're putting it on pretty thick and tapering the sides and just getting it on nice and thick. And then this is our third pass here, and it's all sanded and it's ready to go. And it's just the third is another pass with this stuff here. And then that's it for sanding. So I just wanted to go through the different muds that I use because it is a really confusing subject. Once you understand the different types of mud, it became really easy. Anyways, guys, that's how we got to the point where I actually started recording. So let's get to it. All right, editor Eli popping in for a second. I didn't explain anything about this subfloor system. So what I'm using is DMX 2.0 one step, which is this blue stuff here. It's dimpled on the bottom for water control. If there's a flood, if you get any condensation under there. It's also a thermal break between the concrete floor and your flooring. Because I live in an extremely cold climate, I'm also putting a layer of OSB on top of that. It adds warmth and it'll help span some of the imperfections in the concrete. And then I'm gonna Tapcon that all into the concrete. It's gonna be very nice, very solid, and very warm. All right, let's do the OSB. You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, well, I don't wanna jinx it, baby. And twist myself at the spine. Don't wanna overthink it, baby. It's just twist your body and mine. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight. All right, guys, we got the OSB down. It's looking pretty good, not gonna lie. I like the fitment. It looks good. Everything's fitting perfectly. Now all I have to do is Tapcon. We have to pretty much anchor this all into the concrete now. So they're just concrete nails. We're gonna drill a little pilot hole type deal in. Then we're gonna use our little hammer drill, get all those screws in there. And this will be rock solid and ready for us to install the vinyl flooring, the luxury vinyl flooring. All right, let's do it. Whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, but I don't wanna jinx it, baby. It was taking way too long. I mean, like, way too long. I was gonna fly through a half a dozen batteries or something like that. So I went and rented a Makita concrete drill, and I did it in like 20 something minutes, and it worked really well. And I'm glad because I burnt out 3 of their drill bits, and it's not my problem. So guys, we are rock solid. The floor feels very solid to walk on. There's a couple little spots that you can tell are teeny tiny little bit hollow, but I assume you're gonna have that. You know, it's not gonna be absolutely perfect. The plywood was slightly warped a little bit. It was warped this way first, but then I realized that you have to have this side up. So I flipped it over so they are warped like this. Very, very small. So I think because they're warped like that, it's kind of like a little bit funky, but I'm being extremely nitpicky. It feels great. All the seams are just perfectly flush. Everything seems great. That's it. And next, we're going to paint. Let's do it. go first coat of this matte black paint. I think I want a teeny tiny little bit more sheen to it. So the next coat I'm gonna be putting on is eggshell. So this was a matte, and although I do like it, I think the eggshell is gonna just be a little bit better because it's black, so it's already, even in an eggshell, it's already gonna soak up quite a bit of light just because it's black. So just, I think the teeniest, tiniest little extra bit of sheen is gonna go a long ways here. I also don't know what to do because I have this paint. I might just leave the flat on the ceiling to stop reflections off the ceiling, okay? From the pot lights, from different lights I have, right? And then just have the walls be eggshell. And then that will be our black contrast. Instead of leaving the ceilings white, which I initially wanted to do, maybe that's not the move. Maybe the move is to have eggshell on the walls, the flat on the ceiling, and that might be the look I'm going for. I think, I like, so far I like it. It crunches the room down. The room does not feel as big. It does not feel nearly as big. It feels like a teeny tiny room right now, but that's honestly what I wanted. Like, I like the feeling that it's got going now. I'm 6'4". I feel big everywhere I go. I want this to kind of crunch me in and make me feel small. It might sound weird to you, but I want the cave, the tightness. I want it to kind of like feel like it's overburning on me, right? So anyways, I like that feeling. That's what I'm going for. So far, I honestly love it. I think when it's all said and done, it's gonna look really sick. It went on good. We'll see how the next one goes on. We'll see you on coat number 3. All right, so this is something that I actually forgot to do between the prime layer and this first layer, this first black layer here, is to use a fine grit sandpaper, a radial sander. So I'm gonna do that now, so that I'm just gonna go over it really gently, really quickly, just to knock down any bumps, any little paint specks, anything like that, just to give it a nice finish before our final coat of paint. Painting is done. It is all done, finally. Painting black is a pain in the ass. I will tell you that. My first foray into painting was using white colors. Like, the entire upstairs of our house is mostly this color white here, pure flat white ceiling with a bit of slight off-white walls. And it hides imperfections a lot easier. The black with this light here, it shows every single imperfection in the paint. So I think all in all, I did a really good job with it. I'm happy. Is it absolutely flawless? No, it's not absolutely flawless. But once I get my lights in here, and I don't have this like hardcore construction lamp, it should, it's not gonna pop out as easily as it does now with this light in here. But everything came out pretty good. I mean, look at it. Not a lot of lap marks. There's some irregularities in there you can see, just very, very, very slightly, but it is very acceptable in my opinion. I'm very picky, and it turned out really good. It's still not 100% dry either. All right, guys, so that's it for part 1 of my dream studio build. Thank you for watching if you made it all the way this far. That is absolutely incredible. Initially, the full video was supposed to be 40 minutes long, but my incredible viewers said that would probably be best if I broke it up into 2 20-minute-ish videos, so that's exactly what I'm going to do. This room was a ton of fun to build, and next week, I'm going to be dropping episode 2. It's going to be the flooring, the trim, the electrical, and just kind of putting the finishing touches on the room. So I can't wait to show you guys that video. It's going to be amazing. So thank you for watching. Thank you everybody who supported me over the last couple of years of streaming. It's because of you and your support that I'm able to make this dream studio. You know, it is, I can't believe that I'm actually finally doing it. I can't believe that we own a house now and that I'm building this studio. It's incredible. So I've always really enjoyed creator YouTube. I've enjoyed creators like Modustrial Maker, Smarter Every Day. There's a ton of people, Smarter Every Day doesn't really make stuff, but there's a ton of people out there who make a lot of interesting things and do improvements on their house. And it's something that I've always kind of wanted to get into, being someone who went to film school, and I've worked in the movie industry. And it's something that I've really always wanted to dive into. So I'm glad that this is giving me the opportunity to do that. I'm also sorry that I don't have like the best film equipment. It is what it is. I filmed the whole thing on my iPhone in a teeny tiny little like $2 tripod. I have no audio equipment, and if this goes good, maybe I'll improve some of that stuff. But I have a lot of future projects. The desk, the shelving unit, this is all stuff that I would like to custom build myself. You know, you can see above me here in the picture, all those cupboards on top, the shelving units with the RGB, that's going to be something that we build from scratch. The floating shelves, we're going to be building from scratch. The desk, I don't know, it's going to be somewhat part custom, but I'm not really sure about the desk yet. It's going to be challenging. Those LED strips, all that stuff is going to be things that I want to learn how to do, build, customize, and get this room to be something that I truly out of my dreams. And I have a new table saw. I'm going to be building my wife some standing or some raised flower beds to try and, you know, cut my teeth on working with that table saw and building some things. So I'd like to make videos about that. Yeah, so I'd love your input, guys. Let me know what you thought about this video, and we'll see you next week for episode 2. Thanks for watching.